So how long has Ireland been considered a nation as a whole, an all-island nation who people living there refer to themselves as Irish, as distinctly Irish compared to elsewhere in Europe and Britain? I'd actually argue that this goes back really, really far. This is just a quick walk and talk video in the Phoenix Park. I'm always walking barefoot as well, especially over the long grass. Anyhow, it'll be interesting to just recite the first passage of the Proclamation of the Republic, obviously signed by Thomas MacDonagh, James Connolly, P.H. Pearse, etc. They write, "Irish men and Irish women, in the name of God and of the dead generations from which she receives her old tradition of nationhood, Ireland, through us, summons her children to her flag and strikes for her freedom." So that was the opening two sentences of the Proclamation of the Irish Republic from 1916. They say, from which she receives her old tradition of nationhood. And that got me thinking, well, actually Ireland is one of the few countries in Europe that has a very, very ancient sense of nationhood. So obviously when Patrick came in 432 and he writes his Confessio, his confessions, he calls the Irish Scotti. Now, before you're wondering, does that have anything to do with Scotland? It actually does. Scot means Irishman, or Scotus means Irishman, from about the 5th to the 12th century. And then the Irish who migrated from northeast Ireland, around about Antrim, they were the Dalriada clan. They migrated from Ireland over to Scotland. Anyhow, between this period of about the 5th century to the 12th century, Ireland does have a fairly unique way of doing things. Ireland, for instance, produces books written in the hands of the Irish. Librici Scotici Scripti. This was a famous quote from a Book of Kells documentary, but I believe it's a Latin inscription. It's when all the Irish monks fled from Ireland in search of better lands and better pay from royal patrons in the various monasteries in Europe. But when the Irish went across Europe, they took with them their specific method of writing, their specific style of writing. So it's called Libri